Hello, I reinvented multiplayer, but how? And why? Okay, so, have you ever tried to join a game only to get the message that this server is full? If you haven't, that's pretty crazy, but this is a very common problem where you want to join a game, but there's too many people, not enough space, so it says it's full, and you can't join. So, I fixed that. In my multiplayer, there is no player limit, and there isn't even a server. So, what? So, before I explain how my multiplayer works, I would like to explain how regular multiplayer works. So, basically, there is a server, or someone that is like the rule keeper, and when someone wants to join the game, they talk directly to the server. And as you add more and more people, they all just keep wanting to talk to that server. The server does everything. It'll check the rules, it'll make sure you're not cheating, it'll tell everyone else what you do, and yeah, it's just a server. But as you add more and more people, it gets more and more overwhelmed because it's very difficult to talk to that many people at once. So eventually, it just gives up and puts a limit to how many people you can play with. So, to solve this, some other people have tried making a peer-to-peer server. In a peer-to-peer system, there is no server, and messages and information get around by gossip. It's like, hey bro, did you hear about this? 101001. Anyway, that's a very messy system, and it's very easy to break. So, my multiplayer is kind of like a combination of the two. So, the first person to join can be viewed as, like, the CEO of a corporation, let's say. When you add more people, you can think of them as employees. They are under the level of the CEO, and they will talk directly to the CEO. Once you hit too many players, you promote the employees to bosses. So, congrats, you're promoted, you're a boss now. And all new employees will be put under one of the bosses. And when those bosses get full, they promote their employees, and they promote themselves. And it keeps going, and as there's more and more people, there's more power to compute whatever is needed, and all the work is shared separately instead of all being given to that one guy, because just like the real world, if you try to have that many people talk to just one guy at once, he will get overwhelmed, and he'll probably get a new job somewhere else. And in the case that one of the higher-ups leave, a new employee is promoted to that position. This whole system can be viewed as a cascading tree, or cascade, or whatever you want to call it. And the CEO of a tree can talk to the CEO of other trees. So when they want to send a message, they will just get all of the CEOs on the line, and they'll be like, hey, look at this. And then all of those CEOs will tell all of their bosses, hey, look at this. And all of those bosses will tell their employees, and blah blah blah, etc. So this multiplayer system has two main problems. The first one I'll get to is mismatch. This right here is the first ever multiplayer game of World War Chess ever played. It was played me versus James. I was playing the white pieces, and James was playing the black pieces. It is currently white to move, and this should be a pretty trivial position to win. However, as you might have noticed, both of these computers show two different realities. So to simulate this problem, I set it up on a regular chessboard, and I'll just show you what happened. So in this position, as white, I tried to promote my pawn, because of course I would. So in World War Chess, you cannot promote to a queen, because that is a bit too overpowered, I'd say. So instead, you can promote to a rook, a bishop, or a knight. So as a professional chess player, clearly, I chose to promote to a rook. So there was a slight problem with this, though, which is the way that it sent the data to the other person. So it tried to say, hey, there's a pawn at the spot of the rook, so promote that pawn to a rook. And then it tells it to move the pawn to the rook. So the game isn't dumb. It knows that you can't promote something that doesn't exist, so it doesn't do it. So now for me, I see that there's a rook that's promoted, while he sees just a pawn that hasn't moved. So I can move my rook out of the way, and he can capture my pawn. So on his perspective, I've never promoted to a rook. There is no rook, and yeah, I have a rook, so I can capture his king. But he doesn't think I have a rook, so his king is still perfectly alive, and there's no rook, there's no pawn. So now we have a quantum state where I believe his king is dead, and he believes that his king is alive. This obviously doesn't work, but the game is still going, because the commanders are still alive somewhere else. So, on this board, there's now an invisible phantom king that is taking my pieces. And when he takes my knight, I still can't capture it, because on my perspective, my knight is still there. So, from just what should have been a very simple ending, turned into quantum hell, and a drawed-out game where he took pretty much all of my pieces. I tried to promote another rook, because I forgot I can't promote, and we were left with two kings, both dead, but different based on your perspective. So the second biggest problem is lag. Let's say I want to move this pawn here. First, I have to tell my boss that I want to do that, and the boss has to tell the upper boss, and the upper boss has to tell the CEO, to however many levels it is to the CEO. And each one of them calculates if it's legal, then move it. Then at the end of the turn, the CEO will tell the other CEO, and he'll tell all of his people. So that takes a while, but eventually you get that coming back, and a piece just appears. So for a turn-based game, like World War Chess, this really isn't a problem, because it's turn-based. But for a real-time shooter game, this is a ton of lag. So I would probably want to build the server based on regions. So each boss is like the boss of one region, and if a player moves too far, they get assigned a new boss. But that's a lot of work, and I haven't made that game yet. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Sorry that I haven't been able to release any videos lately. I've been very busy making World War Chess, and now that multiplayer works, the trailer for it is coming out in about a week. So very soon, the early release of the game will come out. So if you have any ideas for the game, or if you want to playtest it early, make sure to comment down below and join my Discord server. The game will be free for the first month or so, but it'll mainly be on my Discord server. So, again, make sure to join, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!